By now, we've seen it. All of us have seen it. We've all talked about it. You see carry handles. They're coming back. These old carry handles that no one cares about and no one wanted anymore are now the craze. Everyone wants them. Why is that? Why does anyone want a carry handle upper? When you went from not being able to get an upper with a carry handle to now with some nice wood furniture from Wooks, just having the absolute vibe machine of an AR with a carry handle upper, and as opposed to something like this with a giant riser on it. Why is that? What's the point? Is there now a place once again in our hearts for carry handle upper receivers? Not just for our heart's feelings, but for the functionality of our firearms? Today, we're going to talk about exactly that. I'm going to give you my reasoning, my logic, my case behind why I believe the carry handle upper is so freaking back. Let's get into it. This is the case for the carry handle upper receiver. Now, you might already have your AR with your flat top upper, and that's totally fine, but I know what you did. You went to yourself, man, I really love the upright head position while I'm shooting, and I really like the idea of shooting with nods, even though you don't own nods. So you bought yourself a 226 mount that puts your optic really high, and that puts it just at head height when you're shooting, so you can do it this way and shoot the cool guy way without having to tuck your head down and look like an absolute nerd. Well, it just so happens that the 226 mount has a whole bunch in common with the A2 carry handle upper receiver. This is a 1.5 mount, but if you put your red dot mount on top of this, then you have basically a 226 mount. So the carry handle upper receiver only costs you about $200 on its own, as opposed to buying a whole mounting system that will cost you way more than $200. Or if you want, say, something like a rail on top to hold an Aimpoint T2, and then maybe like a rail on the front to hold a laser or IR assisted aiming device, you'll be spending something around the $200 range, $300 range from a company that is slightly more racist than I like to admit, the GBRS Hydra mount. And yeah, I think that these make a comeback because they look good. They look way gooder than other mounts. They look really sexy. And today I'm going to make the case for it, saying that not only are these back, but this should be a primary option that you consider if you're thinking about getting or building your next AR. What I'm going to end up doing is ordering a riser that goes a little bit higher, about 1.5 inches above the ground. And I'm leaving! I'm leaving, I promise! I swear, I'm out!
Fucking gun tubers.
I know what you guys are thinking. Joe, why are you telling me that I need a carry handle upper receiver when you, on your own AR, are not running a carry handle upper receiver? If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that I have opinions about things, and you know that I'm always changing my opinion about things. I built this AR probably 3 years ago now, and you've seen it go through a bunch of different iterations. Most recently, I had a GBRS Hydra mount on this, and I just switched to these lower mounts. These lower mounts for me are actually too low. You'll notice when I bring my gun up, I have to also bring my head down, which makes it a little bit harder to properly shoulder. So I'm gonna have to put a higher mount on this. A higher mount for this is gonna cost me $250 to $300. I could buy a carry handle upper receiver, put it in place of that, and then I would have a mount on its own anyway. So that is kind of the case for it. I've built this rifle out. I know it works. I know it runs. This is my main squeeze. And since I built this out as a flat top, I'm gonna run it as a flat top. The other thing that's worth noting with a flat top versus a carry handle upper receiver, I can run a magnifier behind this very comfortably. On a carry handle upper, you don't really get that option. You don't get that luxury. You could run an ACOG on top of it. You could run a standard aim point on top of it, which is the one that we have on this one. But on this, obviously, I get to run the magnifier and the red dot combo, which I think is the best optics setup on the market. So this will be changing. It will be getting a higher mounting system. Luckily, I've already spent almost $1,000 on mounts, so I have the mount on hand to do that. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. So the other like big complaint that I have with this rifle is I just don't know how to hold it. There's no real easy way for me to do that when I'm going to set down. So if I'm not holding it like this, you know, like this with my hands and I'm ready to shoot, there's no other way to hold this. I have to carry it like this. There's just no other option out there for me to figure out. Like, if only there was some other way for me to hold it. There's just not. And so the carry handle really is a necessity if you're going to be moving with your firearm and not wanting to like have your hand on it, hand on the trigger, hand on the grip, and all that stuff. So with the carry handle upper receiver, obviously you get the benefit of actually being able to hold your rifle. They don't really make a system for holding it other than this. There's not another thing that's out there that could take the weight off your arms and make it easier to hold if you're not trying to use it. There's just not a system like that. Aside from that, this has the advantage of having built-in backup iron sights, which are a little bit stronger than flip-up backup iron sights. To me, that's a big deal. So if I'm here, my head height is now perfect, but my dot goes down. I can tuck my head in, and when I tuck my head down, I have backup irons. Those are built in, and then obviously with the Woox sponsored AR, thank you Woox for sponsoring us, we had the Magpul flip-up front sight, and we didn't lose any M-LOK rail on the front. With this Clone Correct rifle that we're using as a substitute gun today, because I am clearly in another state finishing this video, we don't have that luxury. That being said, you still have this, and since the optic is mounted above the carry handle here, you have no obstruction of view. And again, it's in what I would consider to be the ideal or perfect head position. I hope that this video kind of gives you my case for the carry handle upper. I don't think the carry handle ever really left. I think it got like set aside by people, and then companies realized that people do want this and they can make it. So now you can get them. They're back, they're available, they're in stock. Let's make sure that we get enough carry handles that these companies know to keep making them and keep manufacturing them. If you're in the market, you're looking to build another AR, you're looking to build something cool or different, I think a carry handle is a valid option to consider. I think it's worth looking into. So that is it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we will catch you on the flippity flip.